Welcome to The Wind and Wilting Blossom. This is a fascinating game set in Japan, specifically the islands surrounding the main island of Japan, small islands that you may have never even heard of. And this game incorporates both a sort of FTL approach of trying to escape an oncoming army, in this case a demon horde, and also sort of a squad management simulator. So we're going to jump right in. It is set during the time of Sengoku Jidai, or potentially even before, and you start off with a leader selection screen. Now this is a roguelike game, I want to be very straightforward about that. So over time in this game, if you die for good. You have to start back at the beginning. And that's the idea, is you start here with this first guy, Oyatoro Mitsukuni, as well as these two soldiers. You lead him through the game and maybe, just maybe, of course, reach the end and manage to escape, or potentially you get killed and have to restart. Now over time we are going to be unlocking these other characters where you can also do a playthrough with them, but for now we just have to focus on Mitsukuni and of course keeping our party alive. So again, it's not just, your standard FTL game where you're escaping something, but it's also a resource management game in the sense that you've got to keep your party fed, you have to have enough money to purchase healing stuff, to purchase maybe new party members, for instance, and you also have to unlock some key to use certain weapons and some actual ammo, although the ammo is not nearly as important if you don't have any actual missile units. Now over time, you'll unlock scrolls, which you can use to upgrade your units, level them up, and actually make them quite strong. So we're going to jump right into the game here and just get started. The story is pretty interesting, but kind of hard to explain in a video like this. I think I'd have to make like a separate lore video. Nonetheless, we'll jump in and I'll give you a basic understanding. Let's go, guys. The world is ravaged by monsters. Takayasha, the witch daughter of the traitor Taira no Masakado, has used dark sorcery to rekindle her father's failed rebellion. During the first uprising, Oyataro Mitsukuni, champion of Emperor Suzaku, was defeated by the Gashadokuro, a giant skeleton summoned by the witch. Having failed the emperor, as you guys can see, it's a little more complicated and convoluted than we would have expected. But basically, you've got this witch raising up an undead army, or a demonic army, as you will, to take our character out. And the way it works is we're going to be advancing, of course, to try and reach the exit. As you can see, this is just one of many of the islands of Japan. This happens to be the island of Kyushu, and the idea being that over time, or in time, you're going to start seeing a small little purple sort of circle start to form, and this will be the forces of the demons sort of rising up. And if we get caught in that, our chances of survival drop significantly. The idea being that we want to get to our quest objectives, we want to move through these islands and get to the exits, and do it all without, of course, getting killed. That's the idea anyway. So of course, you proceed forward, and occasionally something will happen. Maybe sometimes nothing will happen, maybe just see some civilians moving around. Here it looks like we've got an unpretentious storefront in front of us. Her prices are strangely low, and Mitsukuni discreetly gestures to the party, indicating everyone should keep quiet about the deals. So this is potentially a chance to get something very, very early on in the game. And as you can see, we can actually buy a farmer. I know it's not much of an ally, but we can buy a farmer, we can get some additional resources, etc. And as you go to cities or different, warrior camps along the way, you'll have a chance to actually get samurai and other things like thieves to assist you in your cause. Of course, they do cost money, and I am going to spend some to buy that farmer. I figure we just might as well have another person to tag along with. And now we're going to continue forward until we get to a battle sequence. As the party navigates a small village searching for a place to rest, a strikingly beautiful woman smiles as she approaches the party. One of the party members returns the smile as she passes them. The peaceful evening is suddenly disturbed by the screams. The party member who smiled at the woman is now ensnared by sharp barbs that appear from the ends of the woman's long hair. A Hariona! I guess this is some sort of female, demon. Mitsukuni moves swiftly, cleanly cutting through the yokai woman's hair. She makes an unearthly sound and flees. So as you can see, you kind of make your own story in this game, and it's quite beautiful. It's pretty cool. You can imagine that happening in like a samurai epic, and just very believable and very interesting. So we're going to proceed forward. My goal is to go to Daizafu, but unfortunately, we've been stopped by some beasts on the way. And now we get to the combat version or aspect of the game. Again, I like the art style very much. It does remind me of like sort of those ancient Japanese paintings, I should say. The first thing I'm going to do is push forward. But as you can see here, we've got an armor rating, we've got a health rating, move ability, as well as just a standard attack. As you unlock other units, or perhaps you actually just purchase other units, you will get things besides just a strike. For instance, the thief can set a trap, which deals some damage, and some of the hero units, which you can unlock by playing the game, do even more things. We've got some mages. Well, I don't know if they're mages, but some spellcasters, I guess you could call them. Let's just leave it there, and you guys figure it out. I'm also going to go ahead and push forward here with our soldiers. Hopefully, this is a fight we can come out of. Sight for sore eyes. Here we go. So as you can see, the armor rating actually protected me, but you can sort of see what's going on here. So pretty standard squad combat that you would see in a game like this. We're gonna go ahead. We are gonna strike. As Mitsukune, we get 2 instead of just 1 attack. But the idea being, we want to defeat the enemy as quickly as possible, of course, so that we can move on to the next, of course, the next portion of the game, or the next location specifically. But the interesting thing about these fights is if you don't land on the gold, you will not get the gold. So please do keep that in mind. You've got to land on it if you want to take it. Now, this is an opportunity to at least start getting behind the enemy, start flanking them, and certainly you want to think about these things when you get into a fight like this. Right now, I'm just going for an easy kill, and we'll let Mitsukune deal with the harder foes over here. Now, these guys are not even a tiny portion of what you can face as you progress through the islands. Obviously, as you move through the islands, the enemies that you face are going to get more and more challenging. That's only natural. So you think we're facing, kind of like these mud men right now. They're actually called Dorotabo, some sort of strange Japanese demon. We can get to a point where we're facing actual undead samurai that will kill our entire party with 1 strike, essentially. So you really do start off, kind of on a normal challenge, and that challenge gets harder and harder and harder and harder. Again, going back to that very similar to FDL approach. So there we go, and again, I'm trying my best. I'm not going to get that one, but I'm trying my best to land on all of that gold, so we can use that later. And now we get a victory. Now, if we had a party member killed, it would actually show up in that party member slot as dead. And of course, despite these just being, sort of assisting characters, they each have their own names. They each have their own skill set, etc. So they really do, they really are kind of like their own character, as it were. Arisa Tayaki and Ippei Otomo, as well as Nori Sayuki, have all chosen to join me here as I proceed forward. Now, I'm going to take a look here at the shop at Daizafu, but I really, I'm just going to keep going because we don't have the money for the shop, but you can see this start to spread, and that's what will absolutely kill us if we don't get out of the way. It looks like we've actually got some bandits on their way to raid a village. Let's try and cut down the bandits as well. Now, as you can see, the bandits are not really supernatural foes, so they're quite easy to kill when compared to a lot of the other beasts here. But of course, the terrain in this particular battle does not particularly favor us. Nonetheless, an opportunity to cut down a few bandits and make some extra gold. Why, I would not pass that up for the world. Here we go. Now, health can only go up if you actually go to a town and purchase a health boost, which I think right now would be like 10 gold. That's the only way. I'm not sure if people are going to like or dislike that. You could, of course, like find a health potion on the path, but I haven't had that happen myself. That is a possibility, but keep in mind that she will not regain that 1 health unless we go to a town and actually pay for her to regain that health. She won't even regain it if we level up. So again, I'm not sure if that's a hit or a miss. I think it's a little bit different. It certainly makes you think before you get into a fight, and makes you think of potentially fleeing if a fight is too difficult. There's no shame in fleeing in this game. Well, there is dishonor, but no shame. And there we go, guys. As you go through the game, you will unlock different achievements, as you can see here. And, these achievements can actually get you different weapons. In this case, we got the Jite, the uncommon Jite weapon. I prefer to use my sword. However, it is pretty cool for upcoming runs. Again, that's definitely the roguelike aspect of it, is you're going to be able to use these for upcoming fights as you progress through the game. Once you get killed, you will get a message letting you know what occurred, and you know, of course, giving you a score, an XP or experience score. And from there, you can kind of determine where you want to go. Do you want to play again with the same character? Do you want to maybe play with a new character in a different setup in terms of your assisting characters? Maybe instead of swordsmen, you take some bowmen. It's completely up to you. But it is a fascinating game, and an interesting one at that. I won't deny that for a second. Thanks so much for watching the video, guys. I hope I explained it a little bit, and I hope you'll pick up the game. It's definitely something to behold. Take care, folks.